In today's vlog, I'm going to talk about the energy situation in Lebanon. It's going to be only a brief talk. It's not going to try to cover comprehensively the situation. On top, this is a highly politicized topic, so I don't want to get too much into this. Obviously, with this tragic explosion that happened in Beirut, it's even more of a political and sensitive topic. I did plan on doing a vlog on the Lebanese power and electricity situation. I even prepared already the introduction. And then I did further research yesterday evening and this morning, and I concluded that from my point of view, the problem seemed to be caused by the numerous wars that the country has been involved in, and the destruction obviously of the infrastructure by these wars, and the debt that has been accumulated as part of these wars. I think this might not be the only problems, and since then obviously also the problems in the country have not been resolved. But once you have these systemic problems of high debt, destroyed infrastructure, it is very difficult to get out of these situations. What I do want to do is I want to share this one article that I quite liked from Reuters. It's a special report. It was released shortly after the explosion in Beirut, and it refers to it as well. And obviously this explosion in Beirut has just made the situation for Lebanon much, much worse. It does talk about these potential donor countries that would offer to help Lebanon in rebuilding some of the infrastructure, that are offering to build, I believe, 2 power plants, at least provide funding for that. But even there, they have very limited requests to the Lebanese governments to provide these financing of these power plants. But even there, the government cannot agree on these requirements, so these power plants have not been built yet, which is obviously terrible for the Lebanese population. The article also talks about the deficiencies and the problems of the electricity utility provider of Lebanon, Electricité du Liban. In some years, apparently, they accumulate annual losses of up to $2 billion US dollars, which make up a third of Lebanon's budget deficit, which is extraordinary. It goes further. It actually refers to also the political system, which is, they call it fractured nation. Lebanon has been governed by a sectarian power sharing system since independence from France in 1943. They are suggesting, at least that's the way I interpret it, that this is part of the problem of Lebanon. I don't disagree fully, but I don't think that's the main problem. I do think it's these wars and the high debt that was accumulated over years. What I would also like to touch upon in this article, they're mentioning that frequently when the utility provider has blackouts, the local communities need to fall back on private power providers, which is mentioned in this article, and these are very expensive power providers. And I would say to that, there are already solar energy solutions that can be provided on a relatively short-term basis. These do not have to be 20-year contracts or very long-term contracts. They need to be multiple year contracts, but there could be a situation where you feed into the grid when the grid is available, and when the grid is not available, then the community can use these solar systems that could be deployed for whatever, 5-10 years, etc. So this article is very interesting. irrespective of what I just said, on the solar side, Siemens is giving Lebanon 2 gas turbines to provide free electricity for 150,000 Lebanese. This is much, much better than what I was referring to on the solar situation, but that's also not a long-term solution. This is just to mitigate the most urgent problems, and which is a great offer by Siemens. So this is amazing.
Today we're going to get our COVID tests done. Let's go. So we're at the right place. Come. COVID test done. Not the most pleasant experience, but also not the worst. So in 24 hours we'll get the results of the COVID test. Let's see. This is apparently the largest truffles farm in the world. Such a science behind truffle growing. We decided to cut the truffles tour short, and now we're in the city to do a train ride.
Yep, we are.
Highly recommended for lunch or dinner. Not quite the TGV, but pretty cool. Smoke, yes! This is super cool. An indirect solar energy, but not a good one. Baby.